Hello, my name is Samantha Barnett, and my presentation is over The Dead by James Joyce. The Dead is actually a short story from James's larger work called Dubliners. There are 15 short stories in this book. This book is about an Irish middle-class family that was written in the 20th century. Joyce uses a motif in all 15 books of the story, not just in The Dead. And to explain what a motif is, it could be like a pattern of similar things that continue through the entire story, such as a set of ideas or a set of beliefs. An example would be religion, like if there would be religion found all throughout a story. A love for a nation or a culture could also explain what a motif is. James Joyce uses the motif of awkward self-awareness a lot, and that's in all of the stories, not just in The Dead. The Dead revolves around a character named Gabriel Conroy while he is at an annual Christmas party hosted by his aunts. As soon as he arrives at the party, we can see where his awkward self-awareness starts to really come through. Gabriel encounters a maid, and her name is Lucy. Gabriel has known Lucy since they were little. While she is helping him store his overcoat, because he's coming in from outside, he asks her if she is still in school. He also then asks her if she is getting ready for her wedding, which is kind of inappropriate. It is very weird. And then he actually turns red. He literally shows embarrassment on his face. His awkward self-awareness, Lucy could literally see right there on his face. And then before he leaves the closet to put up his overcoat with Lucy, he actually pays her. He takes a coin out of his coat and gives it to her, and she tries not to take it, but he just tells her Merry Christmas as if giving her money would cover up for him being socially awkward. And then that leads us to the next awkward event for Gabriel, which is where his wife Greta and his aunts are talking about the galoshes shoes that Greta was wearing. Greta actually makes fun of Gabriel for insisting that she wore these shoes. She doesn't like the shoes. She doesn't know why she had to wear the shoes. And so she kind of pokes fun at Gabriel about the shoes. And so he retaliates against her to kind of put her in her place, to show her that he is the husband, he's superior, and he doesn't want her to embarrass him in public like that. He thought he was being logical by making her wear those shoes because it was snowing outside. It was wet. Who wants their feet to be wet? So he thought that he was being, logical by having her wear these shoes, only to have her poke fun at him in public in front of people about the shoes, and that's very embarrassing, and no one ever wants to be embarrassed, especially in front of people that they care about. And then as the party goes on, Gabriel is expected to give a dinner address, just a little speech at the party, and he had practiced his speech over and over, just like anyone practices for a speech. He knew it. He knew the speech, knew exactly what he was going to say. However, before he gives the speech, he talks to this lady named Mrs. Ivers. And she talks about this quote from Browning, which Gabriel actually had planned on quoting in his speech. Mrs. Ivers says that she really likes that quote, and she goes on and telling him about how she likes it. But he can't really seem to really believe that she likes it. He thinks that really deep down she probably actually hates that quote and doesn't like it. So knowing that he's about to quote that, it makes him second guess what he's actually going to say in his speech, the speech that he has practiced and practiced and practiced. So between that point in time and the speech that he's going to give, he can't even focus on what anyone's saying to him because he's too worried about his speech. Because he doesn't want her to hear him quote the line that he doesn't think that she even likes. He doesn't want her to think that maybe he's poking fun at her. So he can't even concentrate on what people are saying because Mrs. Ivers made him so uneasy because he can't handle the social situations. And then that brings us to Gabriel's contradiction. While Gabriel was talking with Mrs. Ivers earlier in the party, they were actually having a dance. They were actually dancing together. And Mrs. Ivers asked Gabriel what his family does for vacation and if he's going to go back and visit his homeland in Ireland and stuff like that. And Gabriel just kind of deflects her questions and tells her that they normally go to Germany or France or somewhere else like that. However, Mrs. Ivers, she just keeps persisting and making him a little bit more uneasy because he doesn't want to cause a scene. Well, people finally start to notice them going back and forth with each other, and people start to look at them, and Gabriel finally just has enough and tells her that he's sick of his country. He's sick of Ireland. So here he's embarrassed himself again in front of a lot of people because so many people are already watching them because they noticed the uneasy exchange between the two people. So then it comes time for the dinner toast, and Gabriel actually makes a toast for his good homeland, Ireland, and about how he loves it so much and it's a good country. And then he realizes what went on earlier with Mrs. Ivers, and he is again embarrassed. He is very, very socially awkward, and he's aware that he is socially awkward because he can feel it. It's kind of like that. You get scared, you get afraid, your face turns red, and you can feel vomit at the back of your throat. I'm sure that's what he's feeling at this point in time right here. And then the last event is Gabriel's heartache. After the party is all over and him and Greta, they go back to the hotel, and his wife actually tells him a story from her younger years. And this has to do from when she was actually in love with another guy. And Gabriel never knew this. So he's finding out for the first time that his wife used to love someone else. The person that he chose to spend his entire life with actually loved somebody else, and he didn't know it. So he realizes that he didn't know a lot of his wife's past, and that makes him feel like crap. That would make anybody feel like crap. So he kind of sulks about that for a while because he thought that he knew his wife. This is his wife. Why wouldn't he know her? But it turns out that really, he didn't really know her. So that makes him feel bad as well. And then, last, to wrap this up, Joyce's use as a motif was seen all over the story. Those events about his awkward self-awareness were in several different parts of that story. So if you took into account all of the other stories, all the other 14 stories that are part of Dubliners, you would actually see that that he uses that motif a lot. And was that motif effective? I think it was, just for the simple fact that because most main characters in stories are heroes, or maybe they're all talked down like during the story, and then at the end of the story they're lifted up. But Gabriel was already down and out after the party, and his wife just kind of kicked him when he was down. So I think that the motif was effective, and I would actually recommend this story, or the entire Dubliners story, to high school students, because high school students are insecure and stuff like that, and this would actually help them to see that even somebody that's, the most favored guest at the party has a problem that he can't really overcome. So that would really help high school students to see that it's okay to have a problem and to be insecure and to be socially awkward and self-aware about it.